I felt inspired to give some notes out. This is about the Marvel group called the Inhumans. All right, the Inhumans. They're led by a royal family. They're not that popular, but in the past years, they've been connected more to the mutants and the X-Men. And the X-Men is a team. If you do that right in writing, X-Men has been popular. If you do that team in a certain format, whether it's fighting, combat, or drama, it's been patterned after a soap opera. It's like if you do that team right, or a couple teams in Marvel right, you can do that across different genres, different properties. It's a good writing exercise. It's an interesting thing. But the Inhumans, I was reading about them. One thing, a couple things I would change, or that I was thinking about, something called the Alpha Primitive. That was like a clone, basically a clone slave race that was created by the Inhumans. I would do that. I was thinking it would be interesting if it was just one person called the Alpha Primitive or Alpha, and they were like the multiple man. They could multiply from one person into multiple people, and they'd be helping around, the kingdom of Attilan. They'd be helping around. They could learn, and learn different skills and combine back into one person. And that would be, the person could be a spy, an assassin, a engineer, a scientist. You give the person more personality, more experiences. So the Alpha Primitive, maybe have an extended lifespan or something like that. But Alpha Primitive is interesting. Black Bolt, I think, like Cyclops, there's untapped potential, but I would give him like some sort of visor or mask where he could, look more goth, but to have him have a mask, but it helped him speak, as it is. If people know his powers, he doesn't speak a lot or speak at all, really. I think that would be, it could be an Elseworld or something like that, but it could be an experiment to give him more ability to speak, give him a mask that, if he opens his mask, he uses his destructive voice, but give him a mask that modulates his voice and lets him speak. I think that would be easier to tell stories, and better. And the lockjaw character, that's basically looks like a dog, but according to the logic goes that it probably started out off as a human, then it went to a terrigenesis, became a dog through experimentation. But I might give that person a more human form, or like a werewolf form, half human, half man, but or half human, half dog. It looks like a bulldog with a tuning fork on its head, but I might give it a more human form or ability to change and maybe even talk. But yeah, they got two main characters that don't even talk, so that creates a lot of complexity, or I think waters down their stories. They don't really talk, but those are a couple things I would look at. And also, there's the royal city of Attilan. That was a kingdom. That as a kingdom, that your background, your city is a character in itself. It provides a lot of elements in storytelling. So just having that city, it parallels to the X-Men cities of Genosha, Krakoa, having independent cities and nations, Latveria. So it's a different, something that you can counterpose against the X-Men, and you put that as, maybe just add the Inhumans are just another foil for the X-Men or another story plot in there. Add them to that franchise. The X-Men, there's the X. It's goes like this. You got the Celestials. You got the Eternals that were created by the Celestials. And the Deviants is split there. Then from the Deviants, you get the X-Men. That's the recent folklore. The Deviants and the X-Men. The X-Men or the mutants, the Homo superior branch off from Deviants and Eternals. And I think the next step, you could say the Inhumans are branch off the Homo superior. So we go Eternals and Deviants, branch off into Homo superior, and that branches off to another version called, the terrigenesis Inhumans. So it'd be like four categories. They call the mutants Homo superior. Maybe you classify them all as mutants and break them down into Homo superior, Homo terrigenesis, Homo deviantus, and Homo eternalis, something like that. But those are things, if I were writing, I would look at just merging properties. I'm merging Inhumans into X-Men as just like another branch, just like the Fantastic Four. Have Namor, Black Panther as a foil. You have, it's just another kingdom, but the Inhumans, they're one of the older properties that never really got going. But those are some ideas that I had to make them more interesting. The Alpha Primitive is interesting, how they had a slave race, and then there's been recent attempts to outlaw it and make it more kosher. But there's a story to be told with that. And the Eternals, they've expanded with Terrigenesis, Miss Marvel. I think in the MCU, they made Inhumans and the X gene basically the same. But through Miss Marvel. So there's a lot of stuff they're experimenting with as far as synergy. And Black Bolt is one of the Illuminati, so he's a core piece of the X-Men universe or the Marvel universe. So those are my notes. Just wanted to put that out there. See what people think. Or fans, comics, Marvel. So yeah, I'll put that out there. Peace.